happy to be in front of the microphone. I've had a long ass week, and all week I was just like, I can't wait to record.
Me too.
I just want to record.
Man, I hope your week was great, but hopefully this next one will be good for you too. Yeah, because this year, if it wasn't, I mean, it's just crazy. Like, this year being wild is just like a norm now. It's like, okay, what else could be worse than this? You know, or like what else can come? We're not surprised. Or hurricanes, no big deal. Like,
I'm very grateful that Florida hasn't gotten a horrible hurricane yet, or like a crazy storm.
Because we'll be hitting you up next month talking about something.
Oh, that was Chili. She thought somebody's knocking at the door. She's our guard dog, you know.
Our third co-host.
Yeah, she's here. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm surprised that hurricane season, I mean, we still got a while in hurricane season, but we've been pretty good, actually, so far.
We've dodged some bullets, because there were some heading towards us, and then they were like,
do not need that stress.
Yeah. I'm kind of glad it's not as crazy as it was last year. Last year, it was a little more wild.
A little crazy. It has been raining a lot.
Yeah, every day, dude. Like, it's never ends.
Yeah.
Florida for you.
But I'll take the little bit of rain every day over a fucking hurricane.
You know what, though?
Losing our power and...
That moment where, like, right before it rains, it gets super windy, and it's like, oh, this is great weather.
So nice.
It's so nice. So nice over here. It's just so perfect.
Floridians. But yeah, per usual, we're going to go right into our grown folk biz this episode, where, you know, we just kind of talk about some adulting that we've been doing, some adulting that you guys have been doing, kind of to bring the whole episode, to open up the whole episode. So,
yes,
we're going to go pretty quick with this because, I mean, my life is pretty basic these days. Mm-hmm. I do the same thing every day. Literally, that's my adulting. I go to sleep, I wake up and go to work, and then I do schoolwork, and then I go to sleep. Mm-hmm. So,
that's pretty much it.
I'm your pretty basic average adult now. And that's why I look forward to being on the microphone.
To just talk about everything and let the stress out.
But one thing I have been doing adulting lately this week, I've been trying to, this is how you know you're adulting. You're trying to live a healthy adult life. Because I've been trying not to drink coffee right in the morning because I don't want the first thing I consume in the morning to be sugar. And I put sugar in my coffee, so I'm doing, oh my God, who am I? I wake up in the morning and I'd put 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar mixed with water.
You said, who am I?
And I drink it and I'm not happy and I'm just like, this is my life now. And I'm just going to drink this apple cider vinegar and eat this banana and take my multivitamins.
Leave it at that.
And I'm slowly dying on the inside.
What is this? Dito. And for those of you who don't know, Dali has like coffee and Dali.
We're best friends.
Yes. Hey, I'm like your leche to the cafe.
Oh, you are. That's what we could be for Halloween. We've been trying to figure out what to be for Halloween.
You could be some cafe bustelo.
Bustelo con leche. My almond milk.
We don't use regular milk. No, for those of you who don't know, well, I just said that. I was like, I'm the cream to Dali's coffee because, like, we're opposites. She's, like, darker and I'm lighter. So, like,
yeah.
We come up with jokes like that all the time. So now we're talking about her being a
and
coffee.
Madison could be a little sugar cube.
They're going to be like, what are you?
A sugar cube.
That's going to be so cute. We have to figure out something. Halloween's soon, so it'll work.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
But yeah, any adulting stuff, any fun things you've been doing this week?
Well, I got a job, so that should be exciting. But I think the difficult thing for me is going to be trying to manage everything because this time off has been amazing. Like, it's been great for myself. I needed this year to, like, I feel like the universe was working in my favor in some things because it was like, okay, this is going to be a shitty year for you, but this is going to be the year for you that you need to mentally get yourself together and do what you need to do. But I'm going to have to balance the podcasting, freaking school, and working, and being a mom, and it's going to be insane.
Adulting full force coming soon.
Like, when am I going to have time for what? Like,
dude, that's how I feel. I'm like, what day is it? Right. Who am I? What's happening? I'm like getting acne on my face, and I'm like,
I'm stressing out.
Oh God!
No, I think that the the thing that's going to be challenging for me is like finding time to do the homework, like to make time to do it so that I'm making sure that I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Because
Girl, the thing that really helps me, I have me, I have like a million calendars all around me. And I just never forget because I put the calendars, like I have a whiteboard calendar right when I wake up. That's what I see. And then that I could just erase and go. I have a normal calendar that has all my bills for the month. Like every little thing I walk past in my room is a fucking calendar. Like, bitch, you have no reason to forget. I just like always have a reminder somewhere.
That's responsible. That's adult-like, though. I don't
Girl,
do that.
my ass
is a mess. I got like
I'm not gonna lie. Me and Jackie bought a whiteboard calendar the same day, and I saw that shit in Jackie's back seat the other day, unopened.
Legit. I just saw that bitch today, and I put it somewhere else in my car.
I saw it, and I'm like, I ain't gonna say shit right now. Well, but I'm gonna say something.
Well, I have no excuse. Well, because like I want to put it up somewhere, but I don't want to put it up because I'm living with someone else, so I don't want to be like, oh yeah, psh. But then I said I have no excuse because
mine's not put up. I have mine leaning on something.
I do need to start using it though, legit, because that would probably help a lot.
Hell yeah, and you could just erase and go. Like, what's due this week? All right, kind of like plan out when am I going to work on this homework this day? Kind of.
Yeah. And the homework isn't, like, crazy right now. You know, it's not, like... Well, then I'm doing only 2 classes because, you know, I started off small. So it's not so bad. But I think that things are finally falling into place for me, you know. Hopefully the next thing is that crib, and then...
Keep a lookout. I'm gonna post a picture of the whiteboard when it gets hung up.
Tune in next year.
I know, 2021.
The whiteboard that we were talking about.
Oh my god.
But okay, we still haven't even talked about what the episode is about.
I know. We have you guys on the edge of your seats, obviously. Hopefully. Yeah, so this week's episode, we've talked about kind of this topic here and there throughout our show, I feel like, but we've never really like focused on it too much. So that being said, our episode this week is about coping mechanisms and different kinds of coping mechanisms there are. And maybe after this episode, you'll realize everyone has a coping mechanism. Everyone has a way that they deal with what they deal with.
But maybe after this, you'll be more aware as to...
Yeah, and I feel like it's important because a lot of people don't have the time to become aware of what they're even coping with.
We're just moving so fast.
Right.
We were just talking about how, like, on top of everything else, we have to figure out how to cope with our shit. On top of being stressed about everything else. And it's like, we don't have time for that.
Like, I gotta wake up, I gotta find time to shower, it's time to eat, I gotta go to my job, I gotta go to school, I gotta pay my bills. And then on top of that, I gotta figure out my trauma.
Right?
Bitch.
Anybody got time for that?
I'm tired. My trauma can wait.
Exhausted. And that's like, well...
That's how it is, I feel like a lot of the time.
It's
like
exhausting.
Yeah.
It can be.
When no one really, like... brings that awareness to you, you don't really realize you have it like that. And you don't really realize ways that you're coping necessarily. Yeah. Like, I think it's important. Because you don't want to be like 65 trying to figure out how to cope with your stress in a healthy way.
Right. I think that, like, I look at ways that I did things when I was younger. Because for me, personally, a coping mechanism was biting my nails. And I don't know if that was because I was always anxious or nervous or what the heck was, but it became such a bad habit for such a long time. So that's another reason why I made sure that I get my nails done. Go follow my girl at Nails by Ruby.
I know, Nails by Ruby.
But, you know, now I keep my nails done just because I don't want to go back to biting them. I used to grow them out naturally, and I tried that, but it was just like, didn't work. I went right back. It was like a little addiction. Went right back to the same thing. Yeah. And I don't know why. It's like, it's weird.
Well, that's a lot of people's coping, like, when they have anxiety and things like that. A lot of people do that. They bite their nails.
And I think it's super important. Previously, me and Dali had talked about just that I have to be aware of certain things that I do because my son is watching me. And that being one of the main things that I used to do when I was little, before I got nails, I was biting my nails. And guess who started biting their nails? Yeah. This little boy started biting his nails. And it's still an issue right now. And I'm so upset about it because, I mean, it's like monkey see, monkey do, you know? So I kind of showed him that. But, you know.
I mean, but you can't, like, be hard on yourself.
No, I know. But I think that, honestly, it's less than it was. Because for a little while, it was very, like, excessive. And I was like, oh, no. Like, you have no nails, boy.
Yeah.
And now it's not as bad. You know, he's, like, calmed down. He's playing with more stuff. I make sure his hands are occupied with things, you know. So he's not, you know, in his mouth all the time. But, no, just that in one of them, like...
And we were talking about, too, how, like, on top of a busy adult life that we have to have, if you have kids, you're also kind of, like, responsible to try to pinpoint the coping mechanisms that they create for themselves to make sure that those are healthy coping mechanisms. And that's super important as a parent, I feel like. When you see that your kid, the way that he copes with his stress is, like, already, like, it's in a non-healthy way. It's up to you to, like...
to try to maneuver it in a different direction.
Right, and try to teach them, like, look, if you're dealing with a frustration or something like that, you should do, like, this is what you should do. This is how you handle that.
And that's hard because, like, if you ain't got your stuff and...
Right, if your coping mechanisms are all out of whack.
I mean, right, because that's like trying to take advice from someone and you're like, you're going through the same thing. You're doing the same thing.
Right, right. I mean, I remember that from my childhood. I'm like... They're telling me to calm down, but bitch, I've seen you stressed out and you are not calm. So don't be telling...
Don't tell me to calm down.
Don't be telling my ass to calm down. I'm going to do what you do. And then it turns into a whole mess. Oh, so it's crazy. But before we go into more, I had asked my Instagram and my Snapchat followers, shout out to those people. I told them that they would stay anonymous, whoever answered on that. But... I am going to tell you their answers. I asked on social media pretty much, hold on, I'm pulling it up. I asked, what are some ways you cope with everyday life? And I got some pretty good answers. Pretty, funny ones too. Somebody put booze and therapy. The balances shift though, which...
It's true.
I agree. Booze and therapy. I'm going to put that on a shirt.
Booze and therapy.
Booze and therapy, baby. Booze and therapy. Somebody else put, a friend told me this. You have to look at everything you have before you have to look at everything you have before you and be grateful. So that's
a good refreshing one.
Yeah. I feel like that's another hard one because we don't have the time to do that.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a practice. You have to, like, train your mind to be like, wait a minute, I'm complaining. Let me sit back and be like, oh, things could be so much worse. Like, I'm so grateful for what I have.
Right. When you're going through some shit, it's like, blah, you know, it's not like, okay.
I have time to be upset right now, and that's it. And
you know what? And I don't think that that's wrong because you have a right to feel whatever way you want to feel. Just don't dwell on it and don't sit on that emotion, you know, because, I mean.
And we'll talk about that part in a little bit because that's super important.
Tune in.
Somebody put having a positive attitude. Somebody put read, go in the grass barefoot, garden, or cry it out. I really like that one.
Bugs with that one.
Cry it out for real, dude.
Yeah.
I find myself lately, like, if I start crying, before I used to be like, bitch, suck it up, stop.
Right.
And now if I start crying, I'm like, just finish your cry. Let it all out.
Right.
Just cry. It needs to happen. It's coming out for a reason. Just cry until you feel better. And I think that's so important to remember. I feel like a lot of the times we're like, we can't be crying. We need to man up, woman up.
Yeah.
This and that. But I think it's even harder. I feel, in my opinion, you look more like you're more of a man or more of a woman when you let your emotions just happen naturally. And we struggle with that. And I struggle with that because I'm not a crier in front of people. I'm a crier behind doors, behind closed doors. So, like, if I struggle with, if I feel the tears come in on my eyes, I'm like, oh, God. Oh, God. And
let me turn around real quick.
I know, your throat starts to, like, start to hurt and shit. I'm like, excuse me, I gotta go to the bathroom. And then I'm like crying like a freaking baby behind closed doors. And I'm like, just cry it out. Just cry. So I like that one. And go in the grass barefoot. I like that one. Even though, fun fact about me, I fucking hate the grass.
Yeah. Maybe put your feet in the sand too.
Yeah.
I can't believe
alternative.
I definitely winked at Dali when I said that. Let's go put our feet in the sand. Wink.
Yeah, no, for real. Grass alternatives.
My ass mulch.
Ew. I fucking hate mulch, bro. I hate it.
I'm so dead.
Somebody put making time to meditate, reflect, and do some yoga. Also some greens. Ooh. And some naps.
Sounds good.
And I love that. Naps.
I like all
naps
those.
all day. Somebody, I'm gonna tell y'all, somebody that I don't even know, I didn't even know we were Instagram friends, put smoke big blunts.
Smoke big blunts, B.
Smoke big blunts 2020. Get rid of all the stress, all the trauma. That's his answer to life, obviously. So, somebody else put work on something I like every day.
That's a good one.
Which, yes, because I feel like with starting this podcast, my stress has been so much like less, or maybe I've been able to cope with it more. Maybe this is my coping mechanism now.
Right.
Is this podcast.
That's true. I didn't think of it that way.
Right?
That's so true. It definitely has been for both of us, for sure. We've
Right.
definitely grown and become different people since this episode, since we started this.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
We looked at stuff so differently.
And fun fact, we're hitting our 1 year.
Yes.
Like this week.
It's the 19th? The 19th?
What day is it? So today's the 14th. So in 4 days. This week.
Ooh.
We made it, guys! A year!
A year! And for you guys that have stuck with us throughout this whole thing, thank you. If you've been a avid follower, like,
yeah, shout out to you.
We're 40.
Because we know we sounded crazy in the beginning.
Thanks for following us throughout the growth stage and stuff.
Yes.
Did you have some more?
Yes. So somebody else put 2 words, essential oils. They're everything to me. And I love my essential oils. I use them for my headaches. I put them in my little diffuser. Love them. And then this was my favorite one. Somebody put wine and whiskey. And I'm like, I fucking couldn't agree more. And then one last one was definitely music, marijuana, tea, and coffee. Unhealthy coping mechanisms include beer and tequila.
Tequila.
That was my second favorite one.
I like those.
Yeah.
Thank you for your input, guys.
Yeah, thank you. And I think it's important to like reflect on that. What are my coping mechanisms? And I didn't I've always known them, but from doing this episode, I'm like really digging deep with them.
Yeah, it's kind of hard because especially when you don't think, you're like, I'm not coping with anything. You probably are. Like,
yeah,
just like
even
everyone
like
is. So it's kind of like, this is not uncommon. Everyone has
does
the coping
it.
disease. Okay?
Just like everyone has anxiety. If you tell me you don't have anxiety, you're fucking lying.
For real, though.
Everyone has anxiety and everyone has coping mechanisms. Welcome to adulting. But if you're wondering what coping mechanisms are, they are the strategies people often use in the face of stress and or trauma to help manage painful or difficult emotions. Coping mechanisms can help people adjust to stressful events while helping them maintain their emotional well-being. So we all have stress, we all have traumas. How we deal with it really defines our life. I feel like, I mean, if you have...
it does. The way you react to anything that's thrown your way.
Right. And, like, the earlier we can start realizing the healthy coping mechanisms and what's going to be more effective in our everyday life.
Right.
To help us succeed with those stress and those traumas, the better off I feel like we would be. And...
Well, we said we want people to make sure, to figure out certain things about themselves.
Yeah.
Just so they can know.
Yeah, for the adulting tip of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go right into it. Adulting tip of the day.
So adulting tip of the day, just to make sure that you figure out your own coping mechanisms so that you can understand where your trauma lies and what traumas trigger that and what it's all linked to. You want to know why you're coping the way that you are. Because of what reason? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
trying to figure out what it is that traumatized you, what it is that's stressing you out, why you're reacting that way. Right. Why are you reacting in a negative, maybe you have negative coping mechanisms, and why are you doing that? Why is that the way? And I think that's...
to the core to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, and especially early adults, like early age adulting, when you don't really understand yourself too much, you don't really know your ways of coping. Right. So a lot of the times that can get negative because it's just the easiest way to do stuff.
And then sometimes you find a coping mechanism, you don't even realize it.
Right, that it's a coping mechanism.
Right, you're just like, this is everyday life, so this is normal, this is how I deal. Right. And that's it, you know, like...
And I think that, like, really hits me true to me because I feel like when, after high school and I started getting older and stuff, my coping mechanisms were all over the fucking place. Like, I had super unhealthy coping mechanisms. Like, I was a train wreck looking back at it. I'm like, what? Like, drinking and smoking and partying and going out. And then it wasn't until I lived on my own for the very first time that I was just, like, stuck with my feeling. Like, you know, I wasn't... I wasn't distracted by anybody else. I didn't have roommates. I didn't have anybody. I was forced to sit there with my emotions. And how did I first start doing, like, coping with that? I was drinking, like, a bottle of wine a night.
Oh, shit.
Girl, yeah, I was by myself. Who the fuck am I?
I got this.
Yeah, like, just sitting there watching Netflix.
Just
distracting my mind and just drinking and smoking and doing whatever I could to just go to bed and then
wake up in the morning with the same shit.
Right, and be like, all right, here we go, day 2, day 3, day 4. And then I stopped that. I was like, okay, I'm drinking a little too much. I'm doing a little too much. And what started happening, I started getting anxiety attacks. I started, like, I had a horrible anxiety attack one time, and it was my first one. I didn't know what the fuck was happening. And I was like, maybe I've always had anxiety. I've just been kind of covering it up with all this shit that I've been doing. And now that I'm not doing it as heavy, it's like resurfacing. And it's like, oh, well.
Right.
Like kind of like.
Maybe you're so set on trying to figure out what to do about the certain situation that you're stressing on or whatever. It's causing you to just to do the smoking and the drinking just to kind of like forget about it for a second.
Right. Like, oh. Okay. Right, because I just distract my mind, like, oh, it's not a problem anymore.
It is what it is, okay. But, you know, you're so used to the certain things that you're doing that you're, like we just said, you grab that coping mechanism, and it's just a norm for you. It's not like, you know, it's not like, oh, this is the wrong way to handle it. So, no, I deserve this because I worked hard this week, and I need to put my feet up.
You talk yourself into it. Yeah. You're like...
all the reasons why you need it and why you deserve it.
And I think I did that kind of like with my relationship at the time too. Like, really? Oh yeah, like he's horrible. Good to you. Like, you know, relationship horrible. Like it was just a hot ass mess, but it was my comfort zone, and it like I felt like my problem, like, you know.
Well then, like my I think about the way that you say you coped and stuff, and it's crazy because like that makes me think like. Because I wasn't a big partier like that. Like, I would come out here and we'd do stuff and we'd party. But when I went home, it was not like that. And then, like, what was my coping mechanisms with dealing with being at home? You know, like, I know I was smoking a lot when I was younger. Like, I guess that was it. I don't know. Like, and working, and that was it. Paying bills and just trying to find a way to get by. Depressed as fuck because I ain't got a good job enough to do anything. You know what I'm saying? Like... That's how it is, though. Like, you know, you have little things like that where you're just like, I got to do what I got to do. Doesn't mean I'm happy about it. So, people just find ways to just get shit done, regardless of how they feel or, you know, like.
And when you're young, you're told, like, all right, go, if you're graduated high school, go to college. If you're not going to go to college, get a job. And you're supposed to have these things figured out. And when you don't, you're like, oh my God, like, what should I do? And the easiest thing.
There's no way at 18 you have that shit figured out.
Dude, there's no fucking way at 28. Right. At 28, there's no way you can know, like, try to plan out your whole entire life.
Yeah, they try to have you do that shit.
And there's just no way of knowing what life is going to throw at you.
I feel all these decisions. What do you want to do with your life? Decide right now. And it's like, what?
And I feel like I'm very prone to stressing out about that. And I've just worked very hard throughout years to just be in the moment. Like, the only thing I can stress out about is today, because today is the only thing that's real to me right now. Yesterday's already in the past, and tomorrow I probably will not wake up in the morning. Who fucking knows? The only thing I'm responsible for is the moment right now, and that's all I can do. Like, I can work, not saying to not do anything to prepare for your future or anything like that, but to stress over it and to...
It's just a bit much.
Right.
You lay down your goals, you lay down your plans, eat and leave it at that. And do what you need to do to get to it. You don't have to stress on it. You make those certain moves, you write down what I need to do to get to the goal that I want. And that's it. Like, I don't know. It took me a long time to get there though. Don't get me wrong, because I don't react to a lot of the stuff the way that I used to. And I think that's a better thing too, because I'm definitely more aware of the way I react to things and my, I guess, coping mechanisms for certain shit, like toxic ones anyways. But I can say one healthy coping mechanism that me and Dali have is definitely working out. Yeah. Because that's like, it makes me feel so much better, and it like legit gives me a great high. I forgot what it's called. But
endorphins,
it's like,
where you like releasing endorphins.
The endorphins are released, yes.
Yeah.
And I love that feeling. So like, I don't know. Keep doing it, keep going. It's a great thing for your mind, for sure. Like, I go on night walks and stuff, and
I feel like that's like the years go by, like time goes on, and you start to learn different ways that different things you like to do, and different things that like ease your stress and ease your problems. Right. Like, my coping mechanism today might be completely different from something next year.
That's true too.
So like,
and it's kind of crazy because you don't know how you're, especially in a situation that you've never been in. How are you going to learn? How are you going to know to cope?
Dude, I think about that all the time. Like when I think about like knock on wood, knock on everything possible, but like in the future, like if when my mom passes away, like I think about that shit all the time, and I'm like, how am I going to deal with that?
I try not to think about it, girl. And it's bad because it is something, I mean, it's realistic. It's something you have to think about because you don't know when something could happen, Yeah. But like, girl, yeah, that stresses me out too. I'm like, I don't want to talk about that one because that ain't, no. But it's something that's important, though. It is
right, and it's like one of those things you have to kind of like force yourself to think about. Yeah, and it's so hard. And I'm like, oh my god, if that day comes, if it comes, maybe who knows that maybe I'm gone before. I don't know. You never fucking know. But I need to really work on like in the moment, like dealing with my emotions, because like I am prone to dealing with things in a negative way, and I don't want to fall back into a bad routine because like a trauma happened, right? And I don't know how to face it. And like when my dad passed away, I don't even know how I died. Like I still don't know. I kind of went in like shock mode, and then I kind of went in like I don't even know mode.
It's like, this is not real. Like, it's not real, but it's real.
Yeah, and even now, like, little things will pop up, and I'm like, oh my god, like, that really fucking happened. And then, how do I deal with it? I push it to the back of my mind. Right. Well, whatever. And you shouldn't do that. It's gonna hit me one day, and I'm gonna fucking break, and I know I am. Yeah. So I have to, like, really work hard on things like that.
No, makes sense.
Because I feel like it's so much easier to just sweep it under the rug.
Oh, yeah, and be like, that's most things. Like, I don't want to deal with it. That's okay. Yeah, do you want to list some of the bad coping mechanisms that we have? Like, that people have?
All right. Jackie, be ready to the point. Yeah. So I wrote down some First, we're going to do some negative coping mechanisms. And some of those are avoiding the issue altogether, which is exactly what we just talked about. We're just going to pretend it didn't happen. Number 2, smoking. And I think that a big one, smoking cigarettes. Like...
Ooh, super bad. Super bad.
But super like a coping... Yeah. Like...
People use that to calm their nerves or whatever.
Right. Even that like... That putting the cigarette to their mouth calms their nerves and calms and like calms them down. And it's like... It's crazy how that can happen. It's
weird, and how your body adjusts to it and gets used to it. Like,
it becomes dependent on it. Oh. Yeah, it becomes dependent on it. If you're not doing it, you're like stressed the fuck out even more. Spending compulsively. Drinking excessive caffeine. You just said I love coffee. Dude, that is a bad coping mechanism for me.
Coffee.
Drinking excessive drinking excessive coffee.
Damn, my coping mechanism, coffee.
Oh my gosh. Running away. And I want to touch base on that one too, but drinking too much alcohol, excessive sleeping, promiscuous behavior, and eating disorders.
When they say promiscuous behavior,
that's what I was gonna go right back to.
Talking about being a hoe.
Being a hoe. Okay, so I want to touch base on that because I feel like promiscuous behavior shouldn't be looked at as something like, oh, she's seeking help, or oh, he's seeking help. This isn't that. If you want to go and be promiscuous, be promiscuous. Like, I'm all for that shit. Like, live your life. Yeah. Get some dick. Get some pussy. Like, do what you need to do. I'm all for it. But, like, I think what that's saying is, in my head, is when you are looking for it to try to distract yourself from your feelings or from your problems. Or
to maybe heal your pain from a trauma. That is your coping.
Right. Like, it feels, you feel better when you're, like, giving yourself to somebody.
Well, like, some people, like a lot of girls that don't grow up with dads or, like, have had bad things that happened to them when they were younger, or, like, it's a number of things, and people cope with it that way. You know what I'm saying? So, before you judge a hoe, know a hoe, you know?
Know a hoe before you judge a hoe. And if you are a hoe, go you. It's like, oh my gosh, like, I just think promiscuous behavior needs to be explained a little more because I feel like we look at, especially women, if they're sleeping around a lot, we look at them like they have a problem or like some big childhood trauma, and it's
what
like,
is that? That A. What is it?
Oh yeah, the scarlet letter.
Scarlet letter, yeah.
Like,
that's what you're wearing around.
Sometimes we just want to be hoes, and that's okay. So with that being said, I named a few. There was a shit ton of healthy, emotional, focused coping mechanisms, but I'm not gonna bore you guys too much. But number one is clean, or like declutter. You know, like decluttering your space. To color, you know, that's been a big one lately, getting those stress relief coloring books.
It does.
Is this one right here? Oh, no, that's a notebook. Never mind. Engage in a hobby, which is what we were talking about before, our podcasting. Meditate. Ooh. Super important. Exercise, what we talked about. Pep talks, yoga, and then I put this one down because I liked it. Play with a pet.
Aw.
Chili.
Yeah, I always feel like that's a great coping mechanism.
I wanted to go back to pep talk because I wanted to see what's a good pep talk you would give yourself. Wake up in the morning. You're like, oh man, it's a rough day. Look in the mirror. Go.
So, you a bad bitch. With bad breath.
Brush your teeth and conquer the day.
You're a bad bitch. No, pretty much like, you got this. Handle it with your head up high. Do what you gotta do.
Yeah, dude, like, you're a bad bitch.
Conquer this day.
I wrote something down a while ago. It just so happens that it's on the same page as the coping mechanism page. But I had put, we gotta prove to ourselves that there is nobody else like us. And that's magical. And I think that's a good pep talk.
That is good. Ain't nobody like you.
Right. We got to prove to ourselves that we're dope as fuck. That we are unique. And that is so true. Like, and then I remember when we went to the Lizzo concert where she was like, this life is a fucking movie. Like,
yeah.
And you got to like, whatever. And I'm like, that's true. This life is a fucking movie.
Right.
And I'm the star, bitch. And the star can't be depressed the whole movie. I got to shine. The camera is rolling. It's a good pep talk, too, I think. And something else I wanted to talk about that was, when I did a little more research, it was under something that could be a negative coping mechanism, but could be mistaken for a healthy coping mechanism.
Ooh.
Is venting to others. And
that's a good one.
Yeah. And when it's healthy, when it's a healthy coping mechanism, that means you are venting to somebody. Like if I'm talking to you about my problems, it's mainly to talk to gain support or like develop a solution or get like insight into the problem. Right. And that's pretty much therapy. You're talking to gain support, to get like an outsider's point of view, and that's where it's healthy.
Right. And I think to tell one or two people is okay.
Yeah. But when it's unhealthy is when you are just talking to talk pretty much, and it keeps you stuck in a place of pain. So you're just talking about your negative life and your negative emotions, but you're not really trying to find a solution for it. You're not really trying to find you're just talking to talk. And that's where it's negative, because that shit really affects your mood. The more you talk about it, the more you start to believe it. The more that you're like, I'm miserable, and you're not doing anything about it, you're going to start to believe I'm miserable
and I can't do nothing about it.
Yeah, and I think that's I wanted to really touch base on that one, because I think especially for women, we love to talk. Yeah. We're talkers, and sometimes that's also too why it's so important to have a good group of friends that are going to hear you, to listen to you talk, but are also going to give you that support and that perspective and that try to help you find those solutions to deal with your problems. Because sometimes people just, when you're surrounded by people that just like to talk, and they're also like, yeah, I'm fucking miserable too. Like, yeah, this shit sucks.
This is the best company to be around all day.
You know, like,
yeah.
Then it's becoming, it's negatively impacting your life. And I think that's important. It could get mistaken easily. So talk to change. Talk to grow. Mm-hmm. Vent to grow. Vent to be better.
Vent about it. Talk about it. And be about it. You know what I'm saying? Don't sit there and dwell on shit. It's not worth it.
But to touch base, you said like one or two people. Telling like one or two people?
Yeah, I think so. I know a few girls who are calling everybody about their issues like as soon as they're happening, or you know what I'm saying? Like, why? What's the point of that? And then for you to sit there and not do anything about it. Like, it's just kind of like, okay, so what's the point? At this point in time, what is the main point of all this? Like, what is the purpose?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I do think too, if you're doing it like in a more healthy way, talking about your problems to just anybody, but like kind of talking in a way to be open about what's going on in your life. Right. And I mean, I don't think there's necessarily a problem with being open with your life, because we're all going through it. We're all going through life together.
Right.
And I think being open about it is, that's a hard thing to do. So I think when you can try to like do that in a healthy way, like talk about your problems, but also know you're not really talking about your problems. You're just kind of talking about your life and kind of, I guess talking about your problems. I don't really know what I'm trying to say with that, but I think there is power in being open. Yeah. But being open in a certain way.
Talking about your life, but not in a way where you're like, oh, look what I got. This is that. And
right.
That.
Like,
oh my God, I hate my life.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, well, I went through this, but I'm doing what I got to do to get over this hump or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It just, when you approach it differently, you're going to get a different outcome.
It's about the approach. And that's with a few things. I mean, it's about the approach on how you deal with your stress, about your situations. And it can either turn you into a drug addict, or it can turn you into
who knows,
a fabulous human being. You get to decide. And even if it does turn you into a drug addict, just keep working harder at it. I mean, I don't know, life is fucking hard.
Yeah, it is.
It's
easy to give up. It's harder to keep trying and to go out through these days. And would triumph be the word?
No. Triumph.
Yeah, no.
I guess you could say triumph.
To triumph your days. No, to like just be able to like go through your days head on without doubt, I mean, you know what happens, but like just remind yourself to try to do that every day. Even if you don't feel like it, even if you can't.
Yeah. And to remember, too, I think we all need to work harder on understanding that other people are trying to cope, too, with their situations. And the way that they cope, you may not agree with it, but that's, they're also going through shit, too. And they're also trying to work through their problems, too. And
it's great to be understanding. But then I know for a fact, if I can't deal with my own coping, I don't give a fuck about your coping mechanisms. You know what I'm saying? But no, but it's true. What you're saying is very true because people are all going through shit. That's why they say not to judge people. That's why they say not to, you know what I'm saying? You don't know what traumas they've been through. If anything, they might have been through the same trauma that you went through. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Or something even worse. And then you're just judging them like for being a horrible person when really they're just trying to figure out their shit. And I think about that a lot too, going back to my dad. Like, he was on drugs and like sometimes like that's the way to cope. And when you don't know other ways, and I think that's what I've learned growing up, especially with drug addicts and with addicts in general. We grow up thinking, you know, they put it in our head that this is horrible. They're criminals. They're horrible. Right. They're horrible people. And like the older I get, the more I'm like, bro, they're humans just like every other person is. And they're just trying to get through fucking life. There's no owner's manual like on how to live a perfect life. There just isn't. And like sometimes people just do it differently, and
you just gotta be okay with that shit.
Or you don't have to be okay with it. Fuck it. But like,
right,
that's just
but
like
figure out your own shit.
Yeah, but like, it's important to, I don't know, I feel like it's important to understand that.
Yeah, it is.
Like, I can think you're a horrible person,
but I think you also have to, like, you say you think you're a horrible person, but what?
No, I was going to say, I can think you're a horrible person. I'm going to still, like, understand, like, a murderer. I think a murder, like, that shit is crazy. Like, a serial killer. Like, I think you're a horrible person. Yeah. But I also think that you kind of got shitty hands dealt. Right. And the way that you coped with your shit was
not the best way.
Right. And you just, you know, you didn't really know. Now you're killing hella people. Right. And now you're on death row. And that fucking sucks. I am like, I still think you're a horrible person, but like, I get it.
That's so funny. You're in jail.
I'm not going to visit you in prison or anything like that, but, you know.
Maybe you can find out what your coping mechanisms are in jail.
Right, you got all the time now to deal with your shit.
But yeah, everyone's dealt Everyone is dealt a different hand. So just be aware of that. And yeah. I mean, it does take a lot though, because like you were saying, you got to know your own mechanism, you know, your own coping mechanisms to even be able to be understanding that other people have theirs. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, it's touchy subject. I feel like a lot of people don't do that. Mm-hmm. A lot of people definitely don't cope with whatever they're going through. And if they, well, that was delete all that shit. I feel like a lot of people cope in their own ways.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. It's just, I forgot my total point.
No, I mean, they all cope in different, wait, who's they? Everyone. Human beings. I wonder if animals cope.
I'm sure they do.
Right?
Well, yeah, they have to, girl, because, like, I think about, like, super sad, but, like, elephants, when they're younger, taken from them and stuff, they'll just lay there depressed till they die.
Well, Jilly copes in crazy-ass ways.
Really?
Well, like, when I first got Jilly, her anxiety was through the roof, and her way of, like, coping with her anxiety was, like, to chew shit, go through the trash.
Really?
And that was, like, her way of coping with, she didn't know what to do. And then slowly she started learning. Oh, Jilly, you started learning your coping mechanisms. Jilly. I'm so proud of you, babe. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. I wonder how a hamster would cope. On the wheel.
And I can just see it. It's so funny.
Going fast as hell.
Damn.
Stress the fuck out.
Hamster Olympics.
Put him in the little ball. Just going all over.
Have you ever seen that movie, Turbo?
No. Oh, with the snail?
It's about the snail, but I think that's the funniest thing. That's what that makes me think of right now. That's so funny.
Oh my god.
No, but yeah, I think this was a good episode. It's a lot to think about. It's a lot to take.
It is, and it's so hard because you can start thinking about like ways that you cope, but you have to start understanding yourself. Like, why am I stressed about this?
Yeah, or like you can look at your traumas and be like, how do I deal with this? How do I deal with this on a daily basis knowing it hurts me? Like,
right.
What way? Because I'm thinking about that too. And I'm like, yeah, I bit my nails. That was a noticeable one. but what are some deep ones? You know, some deep traumas or some deep coping mechanisms that I don't even notice that I have. So
yeah.
Ooh, this will be interesting.
And then figuring out why you do that. I don't know. That's so crazy.
It's a process.
Like, some of it is learned behavior. Like we were saying. Some of it is just
maybe self-taught and just something that they do just because that's just what they...
Mm-hmm. That's what makes them feel good. If you forget about the stress, you forget about everything on your mind.
You know what? I noticed, too, a lot. Like, I'm shaking my legs right now. That's another thing.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm, like, playing with my nails.
Well, yeah, and then I do my hair. Mm-hmm. I curl my hair all the time. Like, what? Like, I'm always putting my finger, twirling my curls, and it's weird because it's definitely a bad habit. My cousin used to do that. But maybe that's just how I when I'm in, like, my think mode, I catch myself, like, twirling my curls, like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So, I guess that's just
I think that's why meditation is so cool, too, because you learn to just be still in the moment.
Yeah. I need to learn to meditate. I want to do that so bad. We need to do that. We need to make a day.
Away meditate.
Record it. Right. Away meditation.
10 minutes of me and Jackie just sitting there. Tune in. We're going live.
We should make more videos. And if, like, you guys, on a side note, if you guys feel like you would like to see us doing some videos, like, of certain things, you let us know because we're all
Don't be going crazy. We ain't doing like an OnlyFans shit. I meant to ask you, what is an OnlyFans? Is it like some nude? So, girl, nudity?
Okay,
I'm so old.
It's pretty much...
Is it nude? Pornographic pictures?
OnlyFans, so, like, let's say me and Dali have researched so much crap. So, like, with dirty panties, from selling dirty panties. Yeah, we almost sold our dirty panties. So what else? We still should. Sending pictures of toes and stuff like that, right? I might still do that.
We're struggling right now.
But, what were we...
OnlyFans.
Okay, OnlyFans. So, OnlyFans, you can grab an account, and you literally can post whatever you want to post, and you have monthly subscribers. So, it's kind of like a Patreon. So, like, people subscribe to you, and you post stuff, and then it's only to you, and whoever else is subscribed to her, or whoever.
But it's sexual?
It could be sexual. It could just be random pictures. It could be anything, Dali. They just pay for the shit.
Damn, I want to
So, like,
start
I think they said, like, Bella Thorne, all she was doing was taking, like, raunchy pictures, but it wasn't, like, she was bare, all naked. I don't know. I don't have an OnlyFans, so, and I don't know anyone who has one, but it's pretty much, you have your own account. So you can
do an OnlyFans about anything. It doesn't have to be sexual or pornographic. Well, I think... It's mainly that?
I think you can put anything. Honestly. Wow. And you could probably put pictures of your feet and people will subscribe to it.
Yeah,
you can just take random little pictures of yourself and then they'll be like, oh, you know, this is what they're paying for, this little extra content. So, it, like, literally is like a Patreon. And you're getting money for that. Interesting. So that's why everybody's been like, I'm going to get an OnlyFans. You know,
I know, like, I see the memes, OnlyFans, but it's like me eating spaghetti. And I'm like, what?
What the hell?
I'm so confused. I'm like, I thought OnlyFans was about your private parts. I don't know what's happening in the world.
OnlyFans. Girl, everyone has OnlyFans. I think they said, like, Black China was charging people like $16 a month to do whatever. And you think about how many people are paying $16 a month. She's getting some bread off that. Like,
oh my God.
So that's what everyone wants to do.
Get on it. Our feet.
Away OnlyFans.
2 subscribers. We're getting like $10 a month.
We get money. Cash it out. That's so funny.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
But yeah, we should look into it.
Yeah.
Now we might consider it.
I'm going to do my feet. I'll throw in my hands when Ruby does my nails. When they're fresh sets. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Shout out to people that are making money off their OnlyFans. Y'all are the real MVPs. Y'all are the real MVPs. I give it up to y'all. Because, damn, that takes a lot of work.
It does. But, like, all you gotta do is post pictures or videos if you want to, and then that's it. And then,
shit. Yeah, but you gotta be, like, to get some money.
Yeah. You gotta be up there and popular, pretty much. But, like, I feel like if you made an OnlyFans, I feel like people would subscribe to you.
Aw, thanks.
I feel like you get an OnlyFans.
I know. OnlyFans for my butt. Like, literally just pictures of my ass in every occasion. This is me
My
at
toes,
Walmart.
right on top of the butt cheeks.
Literally making
That's
bread.
right.
Oh my God.
Okay. But anyways, I think we've
got
had enough. We've gone crazy with this episode at the end. But we always end the episode with our way question. Our question today
Can y'all
is,
guess it?
are we coping yet?
And bitch, we are. Everyone is. Everyone's coping. Are
Well,
we?
hopefully it's in healthy ways.
Yeah. Do we realize we're coping yet? Are we coping healthy?
Yes.
Healthily? Healthily.
Healthy.
Healthily? What the fuck? OnlyFans for my grammar. Pay me money to hear me like mispronounce words all day. So yeah, I think we're done.
That's a good episode. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Thanks guys for tuning in. We hope you have a great week.
Thanks.
See you next Monday.
Y'all know what to do, but I'm gonna remind you one more time. Don't forget to like, comment,